So, what's the topic?
Internal dialogue. That little voice in your head.
I'm doing it right now.
What voice?
It's okay to have the voice when two voices start to argue, and then we start to worry. Yeah. Internal dialogue. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, okay, I'm just
A lot of that going on.
I'm going to just throw this in because I had an internal dialogue, an internal voice going most of my life. And it was always very critical. And I was never good enough. And I always had to try harder. And it motivated me, which was a good thing. But it was negative motivation. Negative. Until I finally just decided, I call it my doubt voice. You know, and it tracked everything that I never did very well. And so I decided I didn't want to live my life with negative motivation. I wanted it to be positive. And so it's like there's a part of me, it was kind of like a ceremony I did, and I just gave it a command. And I said, I am the 5-star general. You are the little effing voice in my head, and I'm going to reassign you. I want you to find everything in this lifetime, in every lifetime, that I did well, that I accomplished, that I succeeded in. And it was really important that I got rid of it because that voice talked to me in a way that I would not let anyone talk to me that way. A friend, a lover, a partner. So disrespectful. And when I realized what I was doing, allowing my internal dialogue to do to myself, I went, no, if I won't allow others to speak to me that way, I'm not going to allow myself to speak to me that way. So I reassigned that voice and gave it direction to find all the beauty. And so I was driving in the car the next day, and it was silent. My brain was silent, and I recognized it, and then I started feeling lonely. And I thought, oh my God, that loneliness, and that voice came right back. And I went, I got you. I know. You are, I told you, only you can talk to me respectfully, and if I am lonely, I'm turning the music on. And that's what I did. And I've never had to deal with that doubt voice again. But it took most of my adult life to finally confront that negative side of myself that so berated me. It motivated me. I never felt good enough, so I had to work twice as hard to just break even.
Right.
Just twice as hard to just break even. So.
I think your point is something very... I think there's a misconception for a lot of people about that internal voice. I think they actually think that voice is them. And what you're pointing to and you're sharing there was that you were talking to your voice. You weren't your voice. You were talking to your voice. You were commanding your voice, right? Your
Once I woke
internal
up.
dialogue.
Once I realized it.
Yeah. And so, I'll get into a little brain science here. You know, when we die, we don't take this body. Goes in the ground, gets burned up, whatever happens to our body. We don't take this body, but we go somewhere, right? So what transfers? It's our higher soul, right? And so it's that voice is not part of that. That voice is technically, brain science here, neurons firing. That voice is a collection of cells in the body who've all decided that they're going to work together to keep this body alive. And one of those things they do is have a pattern of things in the brain that say, this is what's going to keep you safe. This is what you shouldn't do. This is what you shouldn't do. And so that voice, all it's doing is keeping your body safe. But sometimes, as human beings, we need to grow and pass that voice so that we can grow and develop into what we came here to do. And so telling that voice, or even sometimes it's even could be gentler. It could be something as simple as, thanks for sharing. I'm going to do this anyway.
Well, great, because I've said, thanks for sharing. I know you're here to help me, to support me, and it needs to be done in a new way. Because I no longer need what you're sharing. and I am growing and I'm changing. My soul is evolving. Thanks for sharing. And
Yes.
yeah.
I'm curious, what did as you got older, did that voice age with you? Was that voice always the voice of a child? Did it mature? You know?
I would
Did
say
it grow with you, or because I think, like for me, so many times it's about, you know, the inner child, because I think that's where we pick up a lot of this stuff, is something that we didn't get from our parents, a need that wasn't fulfilled, and children can be really cruel. So if that inner voice is coming through as a child in a childlike way, I've never, because I've experienced that too, you know, but I've never, until you mentioned that, I've never really stopped to think, you know, does it grow older with us? Do we even pay attention to what age it is? Does it talk to us like a child talks, or like a stern adult? You know?
Bingo. Critical parent.
Critical parent.
It's a critical elder. No matter what age I am, like it was, because
Right.
I nipped it. It's a critical elder that I can always do better. And I'm not walking on water, so of course I can always do better. And it doesn't need to come from this negative, dark place,
Right.
and beating myself up. It was, I can acknowledge, and I can be acknowledged for what I have accomplished. Do I want to accomplish more? Well, of course I do. Until the day I die, I do. I want to grow and change. Not being motivated from a critical, lack of confidence, lack of caring type parent. My parents were not that. So this is more like an archetypical critical parent.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Right, right. It's fascinating how one person or two people could grow up in the same household under the same influences, and one could take that and that would be a motivator,
Right.
you know, and the other one would collapse in the fetal
Right.
position on the floor,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
or a
clear.
combination of the both. You know, it's really interesting because, you know, the subconscious, and this is something that I used to share with my boys too, is that self-talk or being critical of yourself. I'm like, you know, your subconscious does not have a sense of humor. It takes everything we say literal. And if you're saying, oh man, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid, I can't do that, the subconscious hears that and says, we're dumb, we're stupid, you know, that's the goal we're going for. So, you know, I think it's real important to, you know, at the very least, you know, you don't have to go from one spectrum to the other, but even if we just eliminate some of that, you know, I think that's a huge step forward.
Well, changing language, because we've talked about communication. So I would not say I'm dumb. I change it to I am challenged. You know, and if I'm challenged about something, even more recently, I say, I don't know. I don't know. So I have failed.
Right.
And I have been given such freedom when I finally admitted I don't know, I have failed. You know, you're on your own. You've got to figure this out for yourself. I'll figure it out for myself. So that self-communication then, because there are times if I'm down, you know, where I will beat myself up about my weight. You know, I've been dealing with a food addiction my entire life. And so overcoming that takes so much energy. And to accept and love myself, as we have said, you know, if I'm overweight or whatever weight I am, and that voice comes in, and it's like, no, you know, the stop sign, no. And I bring, once again, you know, the light of God, the light of spirituality in to say, okay, if you want to change, you're changing in all these other arenas, you're succeeding in all these other arenas, now we need to focus on this one. And so that's a positive reinforcement,
Right.
And watching the self-communication. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's beautiful. It's what I'm hearing is like there's actually a parenting happening with your
Oh, yeah.
voice.
Positive parenting.
Yeah, positive
Yeah,
parenting.
yeah. I like that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, we have to learn how to parent ourselves.
Yeah.
And give our little kid inside of us, our inner child, if you will,
Yeah.
Lots of love.
you know, the love and compassion and, you know, all the stuff that maybe we didn't get.
Yeah.
And sometimes discipline and boundaries are really important, since
Right.
we're dealing with so many boys and girls and sexual molestation and sexual,
Right.
you know, trafficking and all that.
Yeah.
So a lot of healing that needs to take place actually on the planet. And we have to start with ourselves, and then it goes out to others.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So, hey guys, thanks.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing live Instagram, and you know, let us know if you like it. Ask us any questions, you know, because we'd be happy to talk about any subject, and we just have a blast doing this and sharing it with you. So, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.